All right, man, peace. So as we all know by now, NBA great LeBron James decided to take his talents to the Los Angeles Lakers, or really to the Los Angeles area, because he has a lot of ulterior motives that he wants to be able to capitalize on. That's his business. Well, of course, he decided that he's going to sit down with the LA media and answer their questions in regards to what he thinks his impact is going to be on the very young Lakers squad. So, of course, he's going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in.
What is your level of excitement, anticipation, playing for a team that has such great talent, but also an iconic franchise? And in addition to that, what was it like having Magic right down the street from you an hour before he was supposed to meet with you to talk about becoming a Laker?
Now, before LeBron James answers this question, I hope that you guys pay very close attention to the reporter's question. He stated, so what is it going to be like for you to be here on a team with all this great talent? The Los Angeles media is already letting LeBron James know, we're not going to let you skate here. We're not going to let you make excuses about how you don't have enough help. We already know that you have a lot of young talent on this team. This team won 35 games last year with a bevy of players that were either rookies or were under 23, 22 years of age, with a very young coach, and with their top draftee, that being Mr. Lonzo Ball, missing a good amount of time. The Lakers could have threatened for a playoff position had Lonzo Ball not been hurt and had he actually had a jump shot. So, LeBron James, you're here now. You're supposed to be the best player on the planet. You're supposed to be better than Michael Jordan. You're supposed to be better than Kobe Bryant, according to the media and according to certain forces or factions outside of the LA area. We expect you to lead this team on a pretty good playoff run. Because the question is not in the minds of the LA media whether or not this team is going to make the playoffs. The question is going to be, will LeBron James be able to elevate the play of the young players? And they're going to hold his feet to the fire on that.
Well, I mean, I think the excitement around the game for me in general, no matter what uniform I'm in, I'm just always humbled that I'm able to play this game at this level.
Oh, man, please. One thing you're not is humble. Just speak the real. You came out here so that you could make sure you could maximize your earning potential in Hollywood. You have to meet up with many of your Kabbalistic overlords, these Jewish media executives and Jewish movie executives in the Hollywood area. That's all this is really about, bro.
This level.
Allegedly.
I think we all know, and it can speak for itself, that this franchise has been a historical franchise in this league for years. You don't even have to talk about the years they won championships, talk about the players that came through this franchise, that's worn this uniform. So that's an excitement in its own right. And then it's just always humbling for me anytime I get an opportunity to be a part of something special. And I believe the conversation I had with Magic that night was a special night. So
yeah, I bet it was, between you two guys. You guys are two of the top Saturnians in the sports world. So God knows what happened that night.
I'm happy to be in this point today.
Them niggas was probably drinking wolf's blood. Howling at the moon or some shit, allegedly.
LeBron, welcome to Los Angeles. I want to know how it feels. I know you've been with two teams before. Cleveland, obviously, we all think of you probably most with the Miami experience. You did very well there. What is it like?
He did very well there. He did exceptionally there. But once again, this is a lot of what LeBron James is going to get playing with the LA Lakers. He's going to get a lot of reporters talking down to him because he's so used to being venerated all across the NBA with many of these other media outlets, and also, of course, television on ESPN and Fox Sports 1, etc. He has a lot of plants there. He has a lot of fanboys in the media. This is really going to be a rude awakening for LeBron James. Because once again, he came to a franchise that has, 16 titles? And I'm sure that if you ask just about every Laker fan, they believe that every great player that played for the Lakers is at the very least as good as LeBron James. I guarantee you, you can find a guy 75 years old who will tell you that Elgin Baylor and Jerry West are better than LeBron James. We're not even talking about Magic and Kobe and Kareem and Shaq and those guys.
What is it like to move to another place? I know you live here during much of the season, so it's not like a brand new experience, but what is it like to just change the
location where you're going to be competing and representing another city?
I mean, well, it's always challenging when you move, no matter if you do it as a profession or if you've done it, in your adolescent days, which I did a lot. So, moving from place to place is something that I've been accustomed with, especially growing up.
And beyond that, you already knew that you were going to come out to the LA Lakers from about 2 years ago. That's why your school was ready by this summer. Because from the time that the conception of the school was conjured by yourself, your team, Nike, etc., you already knew that the final game plan or the final point on the game plan was for you to end up with the LA Lakers. You knew that already. That's the only conclusion that anybody with common sense could come to, or any type of discernment can come to, when you see what happened with that school, the so-called LeBron James school out there in Akron, Ohio. I mean, really, who exactly is dumb enough to think that it's a coincidence that in LeBron James's free agent season, where he decides to leave Cleveland, that all of a sudden he has this school that is prepared and finished for all of the quote-unquote at-risk youth in the Akron area to make him look good on his way out? This is all corporate branding. That's all this has ever been.
Where I come from, so it's more challenging for your family, and your friends that take the leap and take the change as well. So uncomfortable position for them at the beginning, uncomfortable for me as well. Just,
oh man, please, you guys had this plotted out from 2 or 3 years ago. Just knock it off.
Just learning new streets, learning new routes, learning new new people, being around a different environment. So it's always a learning experience when you have to change locations. So. It's an adjustment that myself and my family and my friends will all adjust to, and but we'll be fine because we have each other.
Hey LeBron, Kurt Sandoval from ABC7. Curious, as a man who's been to the NBA Finals 8 consecutive years, the last time you weren't in the Finals is when this franchise was in the Finals. What's your expectations as a man who's measured by championships?
Well, my expectation, is to try to get better every single day.
Well, you know what, LeBron, that's not going to fly in LA. Your expectations better be to win a championship. Now, what would Kobe Bryant have stated here? He would have said, my expectation is to win a championship. That's what they want to hear. That's what they're accustomed to in LA, dude. They're going to break you down, man. I can already see it. I can already see LeBron James going out in the second round, and knowing him, the Lakers will probably have like a 3-2 lead on a team like Oklahoma City or the Rockets, and then lose the series in 7, and he'll expect some type of generosity or some type of compassion for the LA media, and they're going to slam him. They're going to say, LeBron, you up 3-2. You had Game 6 in LA, and you scored 32 points, had 10 assists, 11 rebounds, but you passed up the last shot. Why'd you do that, LeBron? See, he's not used to that because he was not getting that in Cleveland for the last 4 years, but he's going to get that here in LA.
I don't expect nothing. You work for what you want, and you can't expect anything. I think that's all.
Sorry, sir. That's not going to fly. Of course, you have to work for what you want, but they want you to say, I expect to be extremely competitive. At the very worst, at the very least, you should be saying, right now, I'm pretty much the commander of a very young team, but I expect us to work hard, be competitive, and to challenge whoever we face throughout the season and in the playoffs. And I expect to win. That's what they want you to say. They'll probably let you slide from that expectation of a championship for this season. That's assuming that you're unable to acquire Anthony Davis. But if and when you acquire Anthony Davis, they're going to automatically expect you to win a championship.
So for me, it's all part of the process. And, we don't know. It's the unknown. The unknown is what to expect at the end of the road. So I don't.
Dude, I have news for you. They didn't sign you to a 4-year deal because of the unknown. They signed you because of expectations.
So I don't ever base anything off of that. What I know I can bring to the table is, being committed to, having excellence, every single day from a mindset standpoint and from, how I prepare to go out and play. So, everything else take care of itself.
Lauren Jones, LA Sentinel. LeBron, obviously, a definition of success for a successful season would be a championship. But are there any other...
You see that? That's why she brought it up. She stated point blank, the definition of a successful season here is a championship, LeBron James.
other markers or indicators that you have for this season being successful?
I don't believe that. I don't believe the only thing of success you marking the season is winning a championship.
Hey, you guys paying attention to this interaction? Once again, LeBron James and the LA media are going to be butting heads because what? How could you say that you're the best player of all time and your expectation is not to win a championship at the end of the season? Like, it's a big joke to me that they put this guy's name in there with a Michael Jordan. And look, I've always stated, I think that LeBron James brings more to the table than a Kobe Bryant. But mentally, in regards to that attack mentality, we all know that LeBron James is nowhere close to Kobe. We know that already. But in regards to who brings more to the table, it's going to be LeBron. But Kobe had the LA Laker mindset. And LeBron's going to learn very, very soon that the expectations in LA are not going to be that you just sit around town, you're always at the movie studio, you win 52 games, and then go out in the second round. Because that's what this team is going to do this year. The Lakers are going to win about 50, 51 games. They're probably going to go out in the second round to a team like Houston, or maybe even the Warriors. Say, for example, if the Lakers get to the 4th seed, they would be facing the Warriors in the second round. And he's going to sit there at the dais and he's going to say, I think we had a great season. And all the media members in LA are going to scrutinize every move that he made out there on the basketball floor. He's going to get extremely exasperated. He's going to say, what are you guys talking about? We didn't have expectations to win a championship this year. They're going to say, wait a minute, LeBron. You had the opportunity to win Game 5 here. You had the opportunity to win Game 6 here. And you came up short. That's all they're going to evaluate. The LA Lakers are the New York Yankees of basketball. They expect chips.
There's only one champion, but that doesn't mean you're not successful. I think
this guy's already looking for a consolation prize, but supposedly he's up there with Michael Jordan.
There's going to be wins and losses and things of that nature, but what you can control is how you prepare every day, how we prepare every day to try to get better every day.
Let me say this, LeBron James, you better hope that Anthony Davis does not get traded to the Lakers. Because if you guys get Anthony Davis, the expectations for your team are going to ratchet up exponentially. And if you come up short, they are not going to give you a pass. They are not going to let that shit slide at all.
We're a new ball club coming together. Obviously, they have some returning guys, but as far as the ball club, we're all new to each other. So, we have to, take our bumps and our bruises. We have to, there's going to be good times, there's going to be bad times, and that's what happens with a team that's new. But if we continue to work the process and we continue to, sacrifice for one another and put in a commitment and the time to being great, then everything else will fall into place, as I said before.
Hey, LeBron, between breaking some film down of these young guys, knowing their games from previous years, playing some 5-on-5 here and talking to the coaching staff, have you gotten a sense yet of the way that you want to approach the games and how you guys might play with pace and just the direction of the team?
Well, my game, does not change no matter who I'm alongside.
Now, I hope that you guys just heard that. LeBron James said, my game does not change no matter who I play alongside. I had so many LeBron James super fans who tried to harass me and got upset when I said that he only plays in the LeBron James system. That's all he can play in. He cannot play in a real system. So you guys who think that he's not going to have any issues with Luke Walton is going to have to learn how to coach the LeBron James system or he's going to be out of there. LeBron could put on that act and conduct himself as if he's willing to be amenable to Luke Walton. No, he is not. He just stated it. His game does not change. Now, what type of player tells you that his game does not change no matter who he's playing with or playing alongside? Kevin Durant had to change his game. That's how you know LeBron James could not play with the Golden State Warriors. They would have to change that whole scheme around him. Steph Curry will end up becoming Kyle Korver. That's what LeBron James does. The only person who was able to make LeBron James conform was Pat Riley. And that's why he had his most successful run during his time period with Pat Riley.
I believe my game can fit with anybody. I'm a team first guy.
Wait a minute, LeBron James, you just said that your game does not change. So when you say that you think that you can fit with anybody and you're a team first guy, what you mean is that we should all get along as long as you listen to me.
I love passing the ball, love sharing the ball.
In other words, my system is the best system for everybody. And if you don't like it, you can be traded or you can be fired.
And then watching these guys from the outside looking in, the level of pace that they play with, I'm excited about. I love getting up and down and running and things of that nature. So,
come on, man. You love getting up and down and running as long as it's on offense. On defense, you don't like to run.
But, I think, Luke and the coaching staff will let us know what they would like for us to, how we can be great. And
oh, bullshit. Please stop. LeBron James, knock it off. Luke and the coaching staff. You're going to go speak to Luke and you're going to tell him what you need him to do. And that's the bottom line of that. And if he doesn't listen, you're going to go to Magic Johnson. And if Magic does not have the clout to get rid of Luke Walton, you're going to go to Jeannie Buss. That's how that's going to go. Because if Jeannie Buss will not listen to you, if you come to dislike Luke Walton, you're going to try to force a trade.
And we have to practice that and we have to implement it every single day in order to.
Or you'll have a mental breakdown like you did last season with the Cleveland Cavaliers before they made that big trade.
In order to accomplish what we want to accomplish.
Hey, LeBron, Bill Oram with The Athletic. Two questions. One, can you drill down to the moment you decided to make this move and that you wanted to be a Laker? And what was that like, kind of as you kind of took in what that would mean? And then two, so much talk about what you can do for the young guys. I'm curious what you think the young core that has been in place for a couple of years will do for you.
Well, I have a team, and to answer your first question, I have a team that we all come together. We've done this before. We mark out all the pros and the cons, and then at the end of the day, it's it's kind of up to myself and my family. So we kind of made a decision that this was our next journey. This is our.
Okay, LeBron James. So you're telling me that you and your team said we're going to go to L.A., but if Bronny or Bryce said no, we don't want to go to L.A., that you would not be there? Knock it off, brother.
This is our next path, and so I was able to make the decision to come here. Truly excited, about this opportunity. And then I'm always in a learning process. No matter where I'm at in my career, I'm always in a point where I want to learn and get things from teammates and coaches and things of that nature. So I'm looking forward to seeing what we all can bring to the table and how we can all bounce ideas and bounce things off one another in order to better our games.
Well, I think that you'll be willing to learn and speak with Rondo until Rondo figures out who you really are. And then Rondo will turn on you. Rondo has shown that he has no problem going back and forth with superstars. He went back and forth with Ray Allen. He went back and forth with Paul Pierce, with KG. He went back and forth with Dirk Nowitzki. He went back and forth with Anthony Davis if he needs to, or with Dwayne Wade. And I believe that Rajon Rondo is going to end up going back and forth with LeBron James. Not necessarily in a rancorous or in a cantankerous manner, but just to let him know that, like, nigga, I know the game too. And no, you're not correct on this. You're not correct here. We're going to do it this way, and here's why. And I think that it's going to lead to some back and forth between LeBron James and Rajon Rondo. So that will certainly be something for us all to watch out for.
Both on the floor and also, mentally as well.
Yeah, LeBron, Bill Plaschke, LA Times. How much of your decision was based on the Lakers and how much on the business opportunities of Los Angeles, and how do you balance those two?
My decision was based solely on my family and the Lakers.
Yeah, okay, LeBron James.
Listen, I'm a basketball player.
Wait a minute. So why are you running around with a Nike t-shirt that says more than an athlete? Which one is it? Are you a basketball player or are you more than an athlete? Don't tell me that you're some type of role model, because what a role model has to be is someone who's in the household every day. And that's the importance of Charles Barkley's commercial way back in the day. He was trying to establish that all I am is a basketball player. You pay me because I can do something that very few people in the world can do. LeBron James is trying to cast himself as a role model. Now, in regards to a lot of his overt conduct, the brother has never gotten into any type of legal trouble that we know of. He's been able to pretty much keep his nose clean in regards to stories not getting exposed about him. But a real role model is what's in the household. That's why I always try to accentuate to many of you brothers that you are as important as LeBron James is when it comes to your household. I don't care whether you live by yourself or whether you have 5 kids and 2 wives and all that other stuff. You're the one who has to lead the household. Of course, you confer with everybody in the household, but you have to be the head. And that's the point of understanding that athletes are not role models. You have to be able to create that partition there between an entertainer and a leader. Athletes are not leaders.
I play ball. That's what I do. That's what I live by. And when I do it at the level I do it at, everything else take care of itself. So, as far as my business, those things.
So when you do it at the level that you do it at, everything take care of itself. In other words, you come in second. That's what you're saying, right, LeBron James?
Those things have been taking care of itself way before I even came out here to be a part of the Lakers franchise.
Right, but come on, bro. Let's be for real. Yes, you can initiate little television shows and movies from Cleveland or from Akron or wherever you was living. But now you can make far better connections now that you're in the LA area. Those are the facts. That's why you were on Jimmy Iovine's yacht. That's why you went out to dinner with Al Pacino and Leonardo DiCaprio. You could not do that in Cleveland. So you can front all you want.
LeBron, Andy Kamenetsky, ESPN LA, The Athletic.
Where are you?
You've obviously accomplished a lot in your career, been through a lot of different scenarios. At the same time, joining this team brings a lot of attention. What, if anything, at this stage of your career creates pressure for you or constitutes pressure?
Say that again?
What, if anything, at this stage of your career creates pressure for you? Brings about pressure?
Nothing. Nothing.
Well, we'll see about that, LeBron James, down the stretch of this season. If the Lakers are not performing up to snuff, I promise you the LA media will bring pressure upon you that you have not seen. I promise you that. When they crowded around your locker and they're asking you, LeBron James, why are the Lakers 31-31? And you have no answers, I guarantee you there's going to be some pressure there.
LeBron, you're the far back at your... Hi, Marcelo Correia from TV Globo Brazil. People still think about what this Golden State Warriors team can be in the league at this moment, because they keep adding pieces to the team, and sometimes it looks unfair. But you have a young core here with you and some talented players as well. Do you think that this Los Angeles Lakers can beat Golden State in the Western Conference?
We got a long way to go to get to Golden State. They can pick up right where they left off, starting with training camp. If they start today or whenever they start, we're picking up from scratch. So we have a long way to go.
Beyond that, they actually run a real system. That's the real reason why there's so much of a distance between the Lakers and Golden State. Because the fact of the matter is that if you're as great a player as they allege you to be, that being the greatest player ever, there should never be a long way from you and another team. Never. Especially if you have the chance to play with a team for the entire season and you have a good amount of talent on your team. The fact of the matter is that LeBron is the best player in the NBA today, but he's not the best player ever. And the difference between him and the second and third best players in the NBA, who happen to both play on the same team, that being Golden State, is very slim. Because the difference between the impact offensively of LeBron James and the impact offensively of a healthy Steph Curry is pretty infinitesimal. It's almost indistinguishable because of the impact that a healthy Steph Curry will bring to the table. In regards to Kevin Durant, as an all-around player, Kevin Durant is going to bring more to the table offensively and defensively, even than LeBron. But I have to give LeBron the edge because he has an alpha personality. Kevin Durant does not. And certain people might say, well, what do you mean that LeBron has an alpha personality? Meaning what? He's willing to take the lead. KD is not willing to take the lead. KD is the greatest second banana in NBA history. He's the greatest second banana in NBA history. I would have to give him a slight nod over Scottie Pippen, over Kevin McHale, and put him on the same level of Kobe with Shaq on the Lakers and with Kareem on the Showtime Lakers. Right now, KD is right there with those guys in regards to being the greatest second banana in the history of the NBA. And certain people might get upset with me. Well, how could you say that KD is right there with Kobe? Well, I'll say this. To me, Kobe put the differentiation between himself and KD when he won the 2 championships by himself. That's why I would have Kobe over KD. And of course, Kareem's best time period was in the 70s. But when you look at what Kevin Durant has been able to do on the Golden State Warriors the last 2 seasons, he's the greatest second banana in NBA history, in my view. When you have a player bringing you 26 to 28 points a game, 55% shooting, 5 assists, probably 6 or 7 rebounds, great defense, and then get to the playoffs and he's even better, he's right there with anybody in regards to impact and proficiency as a second banana.
We can't worry about what Golden State is doing. Golden State is Golden State, and they're the champions, and they've been together for a few years now. So, we put that to the side. We can only focus on what we can do to get better every day as a Lakers franchise, and hopefully someday we can put ourselves in a position where we can compete for a championship, as Golden State has done for the last few years.
Well, LeBron James, you're going to be 34 this year. When you say someday, that someday better be next season. That's what that someday better be.
Josh Peter with USA Today right here, LeBron. Between the movie project, the TV project, the documentary, the HBO show, how do you juggle off the court stuff and on the court stuff and keep it from becoming a distraction potentially?
In other words, what that reporter is asking LeBron James is, are you aware that should you or your team start to struggle this season, we're going to blame it on a lot of these ancillary aspects of what you're doing? That's what he's telling him in a roundabout way.
How long have you been following me? Huh? Apparently not long enough. There go your answer right there.
What did you make of Tiger Woods winning that championship yesterday at 42 years old?
To be honest, I didn't get an opportunity to see it. Sunday is usually, for the most part, family day with me and my kids and football. So I didn't get an opportunity to see it, so I can't even answer that.
LeBron, over here.
Now, the reporter asked LeBron James what he thought about Tiger Woods winning the golf tournament. And LeBron James stated that he didn't see it, which is a surprise because Tiger Woods is a Nike asset like him. So one would think that he would have stated something along the lines of, I want to congratulate Tiger, or at least put on an act or a show.
Over here, Young Masuki, ESPN. You've been very good at kind of getting the strengths of your players, adapting to them and getting the best out of your teammates. So wondering how you see all these pieces fitting. There's a lot of multiple ball handlers, versatile players. How do you see that? How do you envision this fitting?
That's definitely exciting, for sure. When you see how many multiple ball handlers, so many guys that can do multiple things, pass, shoot, rebound, put the ball on the court, get out and run. So, it's going to be, fun to see how I can implement myself into that, and we can all.
Once again, the Lakers won 35 games with relative neophytes last year. They have a lot of talent on that team. Had they been in the Eastern Conference, they would have challenged for a playoff spot. Because going from the Western Conference to the Eastern Conference, you can add a guaranteed 5 to maybe even 8 more wins. So they could have been anywhere from a 40 to 43 win team last year with the same exact team. So, to say that LeBron James should be able to get them to 50 wins, I don't think that that's that big of an expectation.
And we can all implement each other and get the best out of each other. So tomorrow's going to be the start of, it's like the first day of school, for me. You know what to expect, but at the same time you don't know what to expect. Me being my first time here, part of this franchise and this system as well. So I look forward to seeing how I can work and how we all can work together.
Ron, right here, Braxton, LA Times. You and Rondo had some epic and testy games when you guys both played in the East. What's it going to be like having him as a teammate? And what was it like having him oppose you doing those pickup games last week rather than playing your team?
Yeah.
It's going to be the same shit. They're going to have some epic and testy practices, and they're going to have some epic and testy arguments in the locker room. They're going to start off real buddy-buddy and chummy-chummy, but let me say this. Those rivalries back in the early 2010s, those rivalry games between the Heat and the Boston Celtics, they were very, very feverish and very underrated in regards to the history of NBA rivalries. Those two teams did not like one another, even though Boston was never able to beat the Heat. Still, I guarantee you that Rondo, underneath all of his talk, there's still some simmering there in regards to how he views LeBron James and vice versa. That's why I do believe that there's going to be some type of blow up in their locker room before the All-Star break between LeBron and Rondo.
Yeah, Rondo in my career, and since I've competed against him over the years, has always been one of the most cerebral players, smartest players that I've ever competed against, and one of the most competitive guys I've ever competed against. He know everything that's going on the floor. He know everything that you're doing. He know everything the team is doing. He know all the strengths and the weaknesses. And sometimes you kind of see yourself, when you see yourself in someone on the opposing side, that's where you like think like someday it'd be crazy if you ever teamed up and you're able to join forces with that type of cerebral, mentality where you know exactly what's going on the floor every possession. So it's gonna be a really cool moment when I step out on the floor with Rondo, just knowing.
Well, that's what you think, but like they say, sometimes when people are too much alike, they repel one another. We'll find out.
Things that he see, and he know things that I see with us. Never ever have to say anything. It's not many of us in this league that can actually think and prepare with our minds before we would step onto the floor and then actually play the game.
Well, that's the difference between 80s and 90s basketball and this basketball today. Yes, you guys, you might run a little bit faster due to performance-enhancing drugs and things of that nature, allegedly. But the players back in the 80s and 90s, they were far more cerebral. Isaiah Thomas, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. Those players were far more cerebral. Hakeem Olajuwon, far more cerebral than today's players. John Stockton. Really not much of a comparison. Now, a LeBron James, a Rajon Rondo, they might feel like they're special today because there are far fewer cerebral players today than there were back then. But that's the main difference.
Like the two of us.
Well, that might be the biggest surprise of the day so far. The brevity of that press conference, that was under 13 minutes total. We thought we were going to be here for 45 minutes, maybe an hour, listening to LeBron James.
I wasn't surprised that the press conference was that short because the LA media, they've been there, done that. They don't have that many questions to ask LeBron James in regards to what he's bringing to the table because they're not that mesmerized by him. Once again, they've had a bevy of players that are on his level. That's the bottom line of that. They've had Magic Johnson, Kareem, Kobe, Wilt, Shaq, Jerry West, Elgin Baylor. Like they've been there, done that.
But that was short and sweet, and off he goes wearing Laker yellow. Back here in studio, David Griffin right there, the Hall of Famers, Isaiah Thomas, Grant Hill. I'll go to the former King general manager here. What'd you think? He didn't give us a lot, but what did you think?
Well, it was interesting. They really didn't touch on the things that I think are the most fascinating about the team. Somebody asked.
I think they're saving that for down the line, David Griffin.
Somebody asked about the multiple ball handlers.
Right.
They didn't talk about the fit of the rest of the pieces.
In other words, David Griffin is saying, with all those guys who are going to be handling the ball, how are they going to fit in with LeBron when we all know that LeBron James wants the ball in his hands all the time and he does not like to play off the ball? That's what David Griffin is saying.
They didn't talk about the stylistic approach of having two alphas in Rondo and LeBron together.
I.e., David Griffin understands, just like myself, that LeBron James and Rajon Rondo are going to clash.
That's the part of this that I think will be fascinating. So, if anything, he was sort of let off the hook in a pretty easy fashion, I think, without hitting him on a lot of the things that are more intriguing things about that team. And in particular, which of the young kids is going to rise to the occasion and to the challenge of playing with LeBron. Because that's an altogether different kind of pressure that his presence brings to bear on others. They asked him, what induces pressure in you now?
Right.
And he said nothing. Well, those kids are about to experience pressure like they've never experienced before.
Right.
And beyond that, that's just LeBron James trying to act as if he's this cold-blooded assassin or he has nerves of steel And we all know that that truly is not the case. Even though I will give him credit, over the last 2 seasons or so, he's become far more colder in those pressurized situations. So I do have to give him credit for that. But for him to state that he has no pressure on himself, of course he does. If you believe that you're the best player in the world and that you're the greatest player ever, there's pressure on you every day to perform at your optimum.
Right. So I'm really intrigued who he's looking at now of those young guys. Who's going?
And look at the Lakers lineup, man. They have Lonzo Ball, Rajon Rondo at the point, at the shooting guard, which is pretty much their weakness. They have Caldwell Pope and Josh Hart. Even though Josh Hart is an underrated pure shooter, they have Lance Stevenson as the third person on the depth chart at shooting guard, but I'm sure he'll also see some time at 3 and 4. Brandon Ingram, who's a player on the come up who can also handle the rock. Of course, you have LeBron James and Kyle Kuzma behind him. They have the nut job Michael Beasley. Then they have the legend JaVale McGee. So this team is going to be very, very interesting. They're going to be a great watch this year.
Who's going to step up and be the one that assumes the mantle of being the floor spacing play terminator to go with all that play creation they've put together?
If there was any theme to this press conference, as short as it was LeBron dismissing questions out of hand. He was asked about the pressure question. He said nothing. Asked about juggling his on and off court interests, and he asked the reporter, "How long have you been following me?" instead of actually answering the question.
They're going to let him get away with that for now. For now. Right now, they're giving LeBron James just enough rope to hang himself. They're going to allow him to play on his arrogant, proud act. I'm LeBron James. Don't you know who I am? All that bullshit. Because he still thinks that he's in Cleveland. As this season transpires, and they're not as successful as the Laker media expects them to be with him, because in the back of their minds, they're going to be comparing him to Kobe Bryant. And if he's not playing on the level of Kobe, say circa 2009, and the team is not playing up to snuff, they're going to start attacking him even more in regards to his off the court activities.
Take away anything from that?
Yeah, if I was to critique the press conference, I would say...
which side are you critiquing, first of all?
Well, both. From a player and also from a media standpoint. That's the LA media market is used to seeing stars and superstars.
Absolutely.
Stars, right? So, LeBron has been in Cleveland, in Miami, right? And in those two franchises, they don't have Kareem, Wilt Chamberlain, Shaq, Kobe. They don't have all that up on the wall, right? So that press conference in LA let me know right away that LeBron James now is not the biggest fish, where he was the big fish in Miami, he was the big fish in Cleveland, but in Los Angeles, there's a star on every corner.
Absolutely. Absolutely, sir. And I've been saying this for the longest time. And that's how you know that LeBron James is going to be in for it. He just don't understand that right now, because he's so used to getting his ass kissed. In LA, they've seen bigger and better. And he thinks he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. He's going to find out, though.
So that media is not, impressed or infatuated by fame or stardom. So it was kind of like, hey, what you doing tomorrow? You gonna do this? Are you afraid of that? So forth. Oh, he's good. Oh, 13 minutes. All right, I'm out. I gotta go. Whereas in Miami or Cleveland, it's a 1 hour press conference. Right.
Well, that's the appeal for a lot of NBA stars from lots of different teams about living in LA, is they're not necessarily going to be stopped every time they go walking down the street. But still, LA is a huge media market. You also had a lot of national media there as well. I'm just surprised this thing wrapped up as quickly as it did. Did you get anything out of that?
I'm not sure why you're so surprised. I mean, LeBron James is going on 34 years old. The international media, they already know who LeBron James is. And quiet as kept, they don't really expect him to defeat the Golden State Warriors. So it's like, okay, you're here now. You're kind of more of a sideshow than the main attraction. And that's why I stated a while ago that if LeBron James retires, the NBA is really not going to miss him like that. People act like he's going to be missed. The NBA was able to get over Larry Bird, Magic Johnson retiring. They moved past Michael Jordan retiring. Kobe Bryant just retired a few years ago. Shaq retired. Allen Iverson. All the biggest stars, they retire. LeBron James is going to retire soon as well. And he's not going to be missed. I'm telling you. He's not going to be missed. People are going to act like the NBA is not going to keep moving forward. They're going to be generating new stars over and over and over again. And I give LeBron credit in regards to his ability to adapt to this current style of basketball play. But this style of basketball play does not suit him in regards to winning championships because he does not move the ball quite enough. And he does not play well enough off the basketball. So when they face a team who plays that style to the optimal degree, he's going to lose. So no, he's no longer viewed as being the main attraction. He's more of a sideshow now.
Out of that? Yeah, I mean, first of all, to Isaiah's point, I mean, there's an expectation that there's a star with the Lakers. And so, you know, I think that speaks to some of the questions and sort of the move and vibe there. But I find it interesting, just this is the first time that, you know, in a long time for LeBron James where there hasn't really been pressure. And I know pressure has been brought up. But, you know, the pressure of being a finals champion.
Right.
You know, I think everyone looks around.
That's why he went there, Grant Hill. You guys are finally starting to figure it out. Seemed like for a while the only two people who were saying this were myself and Skip Bayless. Now you're finally starting to get it. LeBron knows that by going to LA, not only will it afford him a certain lifestyle that he wants, it will allow him to get closer to many of the business deals or the business factions that he wants to develop relationships with. And also it buys him some time. He can take a year off.
Looks around and surveys the landscape and, you know, and understands that Golden State and Houston are at the top. In LA, as great as LeBron is, there's a chance there'll be a playoff team, but I don't think anybody's looking at this team.
No expectations for that. No.
Quality team, and so it just seemed like it was more relaxed. And maybe it's LA, maybe it's the weather, maybe it's the media, but maybe LeBron feels that. Maybe he feels like, you know what, I don't have to come in here and bring a championship like he did at his press conference in Cleveland a few years ago.
Well, that goes with my interpretation of the move altogether, which was that he went to LA for a 4-year deal. He hasn't been doing that recently. I felt like this year was a transitional year for him and for that team as well. And by signing a 4-year deal, he basically announced that look, this is a longer-term thing. It was part lifestyle, part business, despite.
And that's what you have to ask yourself. If you're trying to figure out why LeBron James is with the Lakers and you think that it's just about basketball, he went back to Cleveland, which is in his home state. And for the most part, he was signing year-to-year deals. For the most part, every year basically had an option. With LA, he signed a 4-year deal. So he's telling you that from the outset, he's always had it plotted for him to end his career with the Lakers.
Despite whatever he's saying, and this is going to take a little while, and we're not necessarily going to be contenders this season.
Yeah, he made the decision that a 34-year-old man with wife and kids would make when you just expanded on all those 3 or 4 things. Those are the things that he took into consideration. Now, when he was 25, when he was 26 or 29, right, it's all about the championship. It's about the championship. Now, you know, where's Bronny going to go to school? You know, how's my family going to fit in?
Right.
In other words, Isaiah Thomas, what you're saying is that LeBron James knows that his championship winning days are over. As I've told you, brothers, already, the NBA is going to try to put him in the position where he has a very good chance to win a championship at least one season during his tenure in LA. But other than that, it's going to be up to him. They're going to try to get him Anthony Davis. They may try to get him one more star player. But the rest is all up to LeBron James. Now, if they're able to get to the finals and face a Boston, of course, you have that LA-Boston rivalry. The NBA would love that, especially maybe like in LeBron's 3rd season there. Something along those lines. I'm not even quite sure if they're going to be ready to go to the finals next year. But maybe in his 3rd season, if they can get Anthony Davis and get one more star, they can build up Boston. Who knows? But what Isaiah Thomas is basically saying here is that LeBron James did not go to LA to win any more championships. He knows that portion of his career is pretty much settled. He cannot catch Jordan. He's 3-6 in the finals. He did not want to stay in Cleveland and become 3-7, 3-8. Go to LA, build up your business empire, have fun, play with all those little thotties out there in LA, and, you know, perform your Kabbalistic rituals with your Jewish media executive bosses, your overlords, and let the chips fall where they may.
Right. Where are we going to live? What's my afterlife? Because now you're looking at the downside now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay? You're not climbing the hill trying to get to the top. You're coming down the hill now and you know, you're getting the clap, you're going to get the parade, you're going to get, you know, the farewell tour and all that, you know, but you're starting to see that now. So at 34, 35, you're starting to make different kind of decisions. And I think that's what this decision was all about, and what it's about afterlife, but while I'm still playing also.
And in his case, you know, where can I be the most effective closer for my production company and meeting with media entities? That's a real deal for him, right?
Thank you, sir.
Well, I do think, to your point about the length of contract, Rob Pelinka and Magic Johnson did a very, very good job of selling him on. Look, it's going to take us a while, but this is our view, and it starts with surrounding you with playmakers. So
yeah, but come on, David Griffin. They pretty much would have had to have had no plan for him to not come play with the Lakers. Let's be for real. As the last person just stated, he wanted to be out in L.A. He desperately needed to be out in L.A. And they would have had to have had the worst game plan in the history of game plans for him to not sign there.
So your ride to the playoffs can be easier. We don't want you to carry as heavy a burden. And he obviously bought into giving them time. So it'll be fascinating to see how they grow and evolve from here, because it is an odd fit. If you just look at the here and now,
right,
it's an odd fit. And LeBron is smart enough to know that. And to Isaiah's point, he understands what this is really all about. And it's not about championship or bust at this time.
Lots more to get to here on Training Camp Tip-Off.
But anyway, that's basically it on the LeBron James press conference. We'll see how his season goes. But I do expect a lot of excitement, because I think that there's going to be a lot of verbal volleying back and forth between LeBron James and the LA media. So peace.